First, the record. On the afternoon of April 28, 1988, a Boeing 737 flying between the Hawaiian Islands lost about 18 feet of its cabin roof at 24,000 feet. We begin here and keep the camera on the engineering. A pressurized fuselage is a balloon made of thin aluminium sheet, and the skin is not one piece. Panels overlap by about 3 inches and are joined along a stringer, a layer of cold bond epoxy adhesive between the 2 skins, plus 3 rows of rivets through the overlap. 2 independent load paths in one seam. The crown is also banded by tier straps on roughly a 10-inch grid. The intent is that any breach turns, runs around the frame bay, and blows out a contained flap. Boeing demonstrated it with blades punched through a test skin. The crack turned, the airplane stayed a pressure vessel. If you would rather understand why things fail than watch them fail, subscribe. A new failure is drawn here every week, each one a reason you are safer than you know. Here is the flaw, and the first part of it is the size of a pencil line. The rivets are flush head, so every hole is countersunk, a cone cut into sheet 9/10 of a millimeter thick. The taper eats nearly the whole thickness. What is left at the bottom of each hole is a knife edge. The second part of the flaw is the glue. The adhesive was a scrim cloth in an epoxy that cured at room temperature, kept it dry ice cold until moments before it was laid up. Etch the surfaces poorly or let it warm early and the bond comes out incomplete. Then water finds the gap. And this is the switch that mattered. While the glue holds, the hoop load crosses the whole 3-inch overlap, spread thin. When the glue lets go, 100% of that load transfers into the 3 rivet rows, into the exact holes with knife edges at the bottom. The joint did not get weak. It became single path. What grows there is not one crack. The board found multi-site fatigue damage, many small cracks, one at each rivet hole, each individually small enough to look survivable and small enough to miss. Some engineers have argued instead for a single critical crack. The board's finding is the finding. The drawing follows it. Now the scope boundary. In October 1987, the regulator mandated inspection of the lap splices at stringers 4 left and 4 right. Boeing's own bulletin also listed stringer 10. The joint that failed was stringer 10 left. It was in the bulletin, and it was not in the directive. Every flight is one pressurization cycle. Climb, the skin goes into hoop tension. Descend, it relaxes. This airframe had done it 89,680 times, the second highest cycle count of any 737 in the world. Fatigue is patient. Then the ligaments start to go. At about 1346, at 24,000 feet, the joint let go. Here is the line, the crack running seam-wise along the upper rivet row at stringer 10 left, hole to hole, fore and aft. Where it meets a tear strap, it does not turn. The strap was disbonded too. There was nothing sound to turn against. And this is the airplane on the ground at Kahului 13 minutes later. It flew on, an emergency descent, 1 engine shut down, no nose gear indication, and a landing on runway 02. 94 of the 95 aboard came home. The fuselage stopped being a pressure vessel and stayed an airplane. Hold that picture. And this is the joint after. Investigators examining the separated crown, the structure that came off the airplane, laid out in red hole by hole. The fatigue in it had been growing for more than 20,000 cycles. The probable cause was the failure of the maintenance program to detect significant disbonding and fatigue damage. Contributing, management supervision, the regulator not broadening the directive to all the bulletin's joints, the manufacturer's incomplete corrective action. And this, personnel did observe corrosion in the lap joints. Its significance was not recognized. People saw it. the system had no way to convert seeing into stopping. And here is what changed. Immediate directives across the high-cycle fleet, then the aging aircraft program. Corrosion control programs, structural inspection rewritten so fuselage skin and lap joints were inside the scope, and maintenance re-indexed to cycles, not just hours. Congress wrote it into law in 1991. That is why the cabin above you is now inspected by cycles, not just by years. Failure mode, joint failure. A disbonded lap joint, multi-site fatigue linking across a rivet row, stringer 10 left. Nothing breaks without a reason. Now you know this one. Drawing filed. Like and subscribe to support the channel.